Hi there! Welcome back to Hunt Hill at Home. For those of you who were watching me at 1 o'clock, I am sorry that my phone died. I'm very embarrassed that happened. I can't believe how fast it happened. But I'm back and I've got a phone that is charged to 56%, so I'm ready to go. We are down at the lake today and we're going to be studying the lake habitat and the wonderful creatures that live in our lake habitat. So thank you for trying again and tuning in with me at 2 o'clock today for Hunt Hill at Home. So those of you who were watching before, sorry I don't have a new joke, so you'll have to listen to this joke again. Our joke of the day is, what do you get when you cross a lake with a pond? Wet. You get wet. All right, we're going to be going right into this today and investigating some of the different creatures that live in here. We are going to be investigating benthic macroinvertebrates. And benthic means bottom dwelling. Macro means big. Now these things aren't really big, but they're big enough to see with the human eye. You don't need a microscope to see them. And invertebrates means that they don't have a backbone like humans do, or cats and dogs and that sort of thing. They're usually thought of as bugs or other creatures, so you might see things like snails, you might see some insects. So we're going to be seeing what lives at the bottom of our lake. Thank you for tuning in, the 5 of you who are watching right now. Thanks, Marilyn Claire, tuning in from Spooner. So I'm going to show you what I can see down below here. So, oh, there's my shadow. When you look at the bottom here, you're going to see a lot of debris. This is a natural thing to happen in a lake in the springtime and in the fall. You're going to see a lot of different debris in here, like leaves and sticks. These are great parts of the habitat to create shelter and places to hide for those critters that are living down here. Now, in order to do this activity, which we call it ponding at Hunt Hill, lots of people also call it mucking. That's the same activity. You're going to need some sort of body of water. It can be a pond, a stream, a lake, anything like that, and you're going to need a net. Now you can use all sorts of things for a net. You can use this. You can also use just like one of those aquarium nets that you might see at a pet store. Now with your net, you're going to put it in the water. So I'll show you my net. You'll put it in the water and let it set on the bottom here. Now you're going to tap it along the debris at the bottom. So you're picking up all of the little things that you disturb, but you shouldn't be picking up a whole lot of gunk or leaves. You'll get a few, but not too many. Once you've tapped it for a little while, you can look in here and see what you've got. Look for anything that might be moving or things that you don't recognize. Right here I see something wiggling around. Now I want to get that into the water pretty quickly here so that creature doesn't die, because these creatures have gills. They do not have lungs like you and I, so they need to be in the water to live. So we'll put this guy in the water. There we go. Ooh, look at him. This guy has 3 tails. If you were watching before, we got cut off right when we were trying to identify what these creatures are that have 3 tails. So I'm going to hop out of the water and I'll show you how to use our key to figure it out. Here we go. So this key is from UW Extension, and they are awesome. They provide a lot of great resources. So how you use a macroinvertebrate key is you're going to start at the top, and then you just ask yourself a question. So does it have shells or no shells? This one has no shells. Then, does it have legs or no legs? This guy has legs. How many legs does it have? 10 or more, 4, or 3? Now let's look at them again to see if we can tell. It looks like it has 3 pairs of legs, or 6 legs. That tells me this is an insect. So we've got 3 legs, pairs of legs. Now, does it have no wings or wings? This guy has no wings. So we'll go down to here. How many tails? We already counted the tails. There are 3. That's an important characteristic of this. So, there are some different options here for ones that have 3 tails. Now, the first 3 are all types of mayflies. Now, this guy is a long and skinny one, and it says it has gills on the abdomen for each of these. It has long tails. If it were a damselfly, it would have plate-like tails. So if we look at that, it looks kind of like feathers or leaves. This one definitely has long, thin tails. So it's got to be one of these mayfly larvae. Now let's take a look at some other things that I caught beforehand. We've got lots of little critters that live in here. Right here, we've got a caddisfly larva. Now the caddisfly are really cool because they create their own little casings out of debris to help protect them. Now I lifted this guy out of the water, so he popped back into his casing. But when I set him back in, he's going to start to get comfortable again, and he'll head out and start crawling around like these guys. There's also lots of little bugs like this that are swimming around. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. You might find some snails. I found some teeny tiny snails today. Look at that tiny snail. There's my finger in comparison. It's way smaller than my fingernail. And I also found another creature that I separated from the group because I was worried it was going to eat one of the other ones. Here we go. So this guy is called a water scorpion, and they are big compared to my finger. Where's my finger? Here we go. It's about as long as my finger, and it's long and thin. When I caught this, I didn't even recognize that it was an insect for a second because it looked like just a bug. But the water scorpion will prey on other creatures, so I kept them separate. I'm going to do another scoop from the water, see if I catch anything else. Oh, there's a whole bunch of little minnows. Can you see them? Okay. Getting back in the water. The water is still very chilly, but I'm wearing my boots. So I know that my boots don't have any leaks in them. So if I were to scoop over in this sandy area, I'm going to find far fewer things because they have nowhere to hide in here. So I'm going to go over and find a really nice, mucky, debris-covered area. This is where there's lots of spaces for insects and other invertebrates to hide. Anything in here? You're not going to be successful every time. That's okay. Ooh, I do have something though. Let's take a look. Now let's see. Here it is. Some of these creatures are very, very small. Even though they're macro, they're still kind of micro. So this guy is another mayfly larva. We've got lots of those. All right. One last thing I wanted to mention is that this activity is not only a fun activity for you to do to see what sorts of cool things live there, but it also is part of a citizen science project that you can do in your own bodies of water. So what you catch can indicate how healthy your body of water is. So there are certain types of macroinvertebrates that are super sensitive to pollutants. Things up here like the stonefly larva, the Dobson fly larva, the water snipe fly larva, and the elderfly larva are all very sensitive. But then there's also some that are very tolerant of pollutants. Things like leeches and bloodworms and cell bugs and worms. They're all very tolerant. So it's okay to have a mix of them, and you're going to have a mix of all of them. But each of these have a certain amount of points. So when you're all done and you've collected a lot of different specimens, you can count up how many are in each group of sensitive, semi-sensitive, semi-tolerant, and tolerant. If you find that you're having more tolerant species and fewer sensitive species, that's going to tell you that there might be pollutants in your body of water. Today I found mostly these semi-sensitive to pollutants. Things like our caddisfly larva and our damselfly and mayfly larva. And then I also found some things that are semi-tolerant, like our snails and scuds. So that's telling me that it's probably somewhere in the middle where we don't have too many pollutants, but we might have a few. So I hope that you get a chance to go out and explore your bodies of water around you. See what sorts of little critters live in your water. Thank you for watching today, and thank you for putting up with this strange change of time. Tomorrow I will be back at 1 o'clock with a fully charged phone. Thanks for watching. Bye.